week on episode number 199 of the Convincing Idiots podcast. We get nearer to our milestone 200th episode, and this week we're going to take a pause and remember some iconic pop culture figures who passed away recently, Dean. And nostalgia is very big on the set of Wolverine and Deadpool. We're going to talk about that, plus who or what, if we saw or met this person or these people, would bring us a tremendous sense of nostalgia. In our main segment, Saturday mornings were great when we were kids. Why? Cartoons and shows, of course, that we enjoyed. And we're going to talk about some of our very favorites in our main segment today. So keep listening. Keep watching, and let's start the show.
Well, you guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test.
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 What do you call it again? Convincing Idiots.
Convincing Idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the stat man, not just anyone's opinion, the stat man Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Caucasian.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note...
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the vodcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean Zennial. I mean, there's only two of us to make a thing here.
I'm Brian Jennings.
And crickets again. Nikolai still on sabbatical. Nikolai will return. I actually got to have a conversation with him this weekend, and he shall return.
Very good.
We're getting closer.
Excellent.
Countdown. Maybe next episode for 200. Who knows?
Yes, we're going to plan something locally. It may not be exactly on the 200th episode, but we'll keep things posted in our Facebook and other social media pages and things.
Absolutely.
So if you're following us, we'll let you know where you can come out and see us right around our 200th milestone spectacular.
I'll shake your hand and kiss your babies. I don't give a shit.
Sure, that's right.
Or you can shake your fucking babies and kiss your hand. You make the call. I'll do it.
Yeah.
All you have
One
to
of
do
the
is
two.
ask.
Yeah, we're already going to be lurking in Barberton alleys. We talked about that concept for a segment. Mm-hmm.
We do that actually most of our weekends anyways.
That's right.
We're a
That's
couple
right,
fucking
so-
hooligans.
Yeah, so we'll get we'll stop a couple doors down from the local Barberton alley and set up and do a show, and we'll tell you all about that when we're ready to do so. Well, who we are and what's going on here. So we are a podcast of friends from different generations talking all things nerd and pop culture. You might be listening to us wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, etc. Wherever you listen, just give us a free follow or subscribe. Rate, review if you are able to do so on Spotify or Apple. Helps others find the show. You might be watching us on our YouTube channels at Convincing Idiots or on the YouTube music channel, also Convincing Idiots. All show information can be found in two main places. Our link tree page is simply Google link tree Convincing Idiots. It's simply a page with links to our social media and other things. And if you go to one place, go to our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. All show information is there. Links to new episodes, videos, bios, ways to sponsor the show. Our merch store on tpublic.com. And again, even if you buy a shirt, use our link and buy a different shirt, doesn't need to be one of ours. We get a little assistance there as well. So if you do anything at all, tell a friend, help someone else find us out there wherever you listen or watch. And we appreciate your support. So,
We're back
Dean,
for another week, a beautiful week, right?
it's a beautiful day today in Northeast Ohio. Absolutely.
It was actually a really nice day, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And we've had a fun week. So, what's new with you, sir? Want to talk about some fun stuff that we've done this week together? Or
Yeah,
what?
man, how fun was that concert? Brian and I went to see Chicago with Earth, Wind, and Fire opening up. It was Brian, it was you and I and my lovely Megan. And
Yes, indeed.
if you were actual friends with us on any sort of Facebook or Instagram or anything, you saw Brian getting the fuck down.
That's right.
I haven't seen moves like that since. Well, my uncle had a seizure while he was in a nursing home. That was. Other than that, it was magnificent, Brian.
Yep, not since the Tin Man in Wizard of Oz. If I might be so bold. Yeah, before he got the oil.
Yeah, before the oil. Which was odd because you had a lot of lubrication before that happened.
That's about right. Nice $16 tall can of beer. That's it. Yep.
I walked out spending $100 goddamn dollars on 3 rounds of beer.
Boy, and the tickets were $25.
Right. Does it say Mark on my fucking forehead?
Mm-hmm.
I think it does.
Yep.
Jesus. But you know what? When in Rome, the show was fantastic.
Yes, it was.
It was very, very, very much worth it.
Yes.
I mean, how many?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, sure. Just both bands, old school 70s type bands.
Absolutely.
With the horns and the wind instruments and all that stuff, which and the percussion, bongos and shit. That's just stuff. It's not quite a lost art, but certainly in a big rock band, you just don't see that type of stuff these days as much.
I mean, with the evolution of music and the different changes.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I enjoyed so much goddamn about it was almost like every other song Chicago started singing, I would turn to you and go, oh, no, this one's my favorite. Oh, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, I think, no, this one. I just hit after hit. It was very cool, very fun.
Absolutely. No, it's great that both bands blended for the final act. So you had the entire both bands out there.
Not many people can say they got to witness that. That's cool.
Yeah, so if you get an opportunity, if you like old school music like that, go check them out in your area. They're on tour all summer.
Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire. Another thing we did over the weekend, this is where I got to meet up. Our buddy John was able to get a cabin out, his uncle's cabin, out in Millersburg, I believe, something like that.
That's correct. That's right. Amish country here in Ohio. Yep.
Lake Buckhorn or something like that. It was John, his son, and Nick and his family, and me and mine. We invited Brian, but you were having tea party, or I don't know. It was some highfalutin. You were wearing a top hat, I think.
That's right.
All I know is you were dressed like a Civil War general. It was
Mm-hmm.
You did actually. You sent me a picture that made me think you were at some sort of tea party. No, but it was fantastic. We went around on the boat and just kind of have a lazy weekend. About an hour away from here. Had a bunch of beers and got to hang out with fams back and forth. And yeah, it was a really, really good time.
Very good.
And now I'm fucking exhausted. So,
yeah.
Brian, what about you? What's going on?
Well, I guess a great time at the concert. Allie was certainly, she had a ticket as well, but she was unable to go. Some, family stuff going on that she had to attend to. But yeah, it's a great time with you guys. Just a great evening. great show, great weather. Everything held out very nicely. And just more house stuff. I've been talking about house stuff here every week here the last few weeks. So, last week's update was that my last offer fell through to buy my place, so it kind of put us on pause again. So I had to relist. Last weekend, and then I now have another offer on my place under contract, so that's good. So now Allie and I are back out in the hunting game, and with the timing that I have with the offer I have now, we have about
don't have a lot of time.
2 weeks. 2 weeks to find a place to get under contract, which is not easy to do, and we're just trying to be very careful we don't settle for something that we don't particularly like as much.
Right.
I mean, you're not going to find a perfect place. It's just not really. Well, you can find a perfect place if you have about $400,000+ in the Northeast Ohio area. You can.
Correct.
Which unfortunately, since whoever's listening out there is not buying enough merchandise.
Yep.
Just not allowing us.
We're not quite there yet.
Not allowing us to improve our quality of life.
Right.
So I really hope you're satisfied. Now that we're saying that out there,
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just kidding, of course.
They're inconsiderate. That's what they are.
Yeah. Just people just want free entertainment.
Right.
That's it. It's people in Brazil are just more than happy to listen and, not pay 2 cents. That's okay though. It's fine. It's okay.
Is it 2 cents? That 2 cents could feed Brian for a week, everybody.
That's right. No, but we'll just look at it again. We did that even this evening, so I appreciate your flexibility and the timing. We're shooting this evening, so.
No problem.
It'll all hit. Just got to keep at it, man. So
it will.
I don't know.
It'll happen for you.
That's right. Well, we're getting into summer television viewing, and we don't watch a lot of network television anyway, but streaming's still putting out newer content. So have you watched or heard anything you want to recommend over the last week, sir?
2 things I want to recommend. One, if you're like me and you didn't see the first time around, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Prime is fucking fantastic. You need to get on that. And then the other one, I watched the finale of The Acolyte.
Me too. Yep.
I have some questions. It was good.
Yeah. But
there was one thing that bugged me. If you're listening to a nerd podcast and you haven't watched the Star Wars finale, sorry. So I'm letting you know, as we're saying now, this is going to be a spoiler alert. I'm going to bring up one thing here.
Yeah, okay. Fast forward like a couple minutes. Yeah.
Right. Okay. First of all, Darth Plagueis.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, he was when they were taken off, he was on that island in the shadows. Mm-hmm. So there's Darth Plagueis. But at the end, why didn't both girls just go with him? Like, what was, I get the plot point for next season to have the girl's mind wiped so you can start fresh and start a new adventure. But why couldn't they have just both gone with him and been bad together?
Like the light and the dark, man. The balance.
I mean, I get it. I get what they did plot wise, but like logically, it didn't make sense. I'm like, why are you going to let them just take her and arrest her?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's just the balance.
And then they blamed it all on the one dude, the old Asian dude. After he's dead. So the green chick's obviously she's not a good person, or whatever species she is, and she's the one who threw away the Sith. I know we're getting real technical with everybody on the fucking names here, huh? Yeah.
So the head of the Jedi, or one of the Jedi leader, that one, she's like kind of covering things up, and
right,
yeah.
Because she knows that she would probably did the original fuck up by tossing this kid off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
So then you got the fun little last scene with Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't sure if it was going to see him or not.
As soon as she started going in like looked like dark chambers, I said to myself, I think this might be where you see Yoda. I didn't know what version or if you'd hear him talk, but I'm like, and then as soon as he said master, I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to see.
Yeah. I do like that. I'm fine with that.
Me too.
He's
900 years old.
Right.
I mean,
so the Darth Plagueis, did he create the twins?
Again, I don't know.
Maybe twins. It's a clone of the same.
Yeah, they're the same person,
right?
With no father, they're like Anakin. They're virgins in the Force, meaning the Force was used to create them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Darth Plagueis has anything to do with it. But you're gonna have essentially this. I mean, I guess we could pull it up and know the fucking characters' names as we're talking about it. But sorry, I'm typing here. All right, so give me the fucking cast list, you dick.
Well, you have May.
Oh shit, May is the only two damn names that I can remember right now. Okay, yes. Khmer. Khmer is the original, well, the Sith guy that you thought was the main bad. So he is essentially Darth Vader in that position.
Mm-hmm.
And Plagueis is obviously the Emperor, and Plagueis, obviously, I mean, because you're about 60 years away from the birth of Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows how many apprentices he takes on?
Right.
There's always a rule of two, but he could. I mean, this guy could get killed and take another one. He can get killed, or you know what I mean? Because before Darth Vader, it was. What's his name? Jesus, my mind is blank right now. You're going to edit this part. Jesus.
Yeah, we'll do some editing. It's okay.
God damn. And Christopher Lee, god damn it.
Oh, Count Dooku.
Yes, Count Dooku was considered the apprentice. And then once Anakin killed him, Anakin / Darth Vader took over.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always rule of two. And so, but always apprentices always seem to have like side hustles. You know what I mean? Like their own acolytes.
Mm-hmm.
Asajj Ventress kind of played that role for Dooku. She wasn't a Sith, she wasn't an apprentice, but she was kind of an underling to him. So I think that's what these girls, or at least one of them, is. But yeah, man, I'm digging the hell out of it. I dug the hell out of it. I really, like I said last week, I wish we had more episodes. That's all.
Yeah.
You could have fleshed out a few more things.
Yeah. Maybe just a couple more. You didn't need a whole lot more, but maybe a couple more to your point. So, and I hope they don't feel pressured like they got to try to figure out how to end this series with Palpatine somehow. I don't think it's not necessary for me anyway.
Not at all.
You know where where that picks up and everything. That's fine. You already got the connection with Plagueis or whatever. And I don't know, man. But we'll see.
Stick to that timeline.
I give me a younger Yoda mentoring and stuff. I could dig that. Yeah, give me some of that. That would be fine.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
we'll throw in a quick Chewbacca cameo. He's alive during that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Anything else, sir?
Nope, that was it for me.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't watched the whole. Yeah, not a ton either. Watched that. Just in general, America's Got Talent. Runs in the summer. I've been watching that on that on Peacock. It's just a fun show, incredible talent. It seems like it's amazing what people can do. So, that's certainly an easy watch. You can sit down and watch a few acts and pick it up later. So, just something I enjoy. And then I watched a classic. I had a desire to watch a classic Western the other day. I watched The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, like from 1962, something like that.
Jimmy Stewart, correct?
Jimmy Stewart, John Wayne.
Yeah.
Man, just classic black and white Western. It's streaming.
I love that one.
On your Prime subscription for free. I noticed too, Dean, that the Horizon movie is out there for rent or buy on streaming as well. The Kevin Costner movie.
When the legend becomes fact, print the legend.
That's it. That was a line from the movie. That's right.
There's the end line.
Yep. It was good. It was a John Ford directed movie. Yep. He is great directing westerns. John Wayne. Yeah. So if you just want a good solid Western, go check that out on Prime. That's it, man. That's about it, really.
Well, that's a good one to recommend to everybody. I honestly,
absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to take a break here, Dean. Then we're going to come back with a couple pop culture headlines and and then we're going to get to our main segment a little bit later that will tie to my shirt again. And if you're watching us on video, I'm wearing a old retro Thundar the Barbarian shirt. So we'll tell you what that means. Or again, maybe listen to the intro or read the description already, and you already know, and that's perfectly fine. So.
4, 3.
All right, welcome back to Convincing Idiots. Taking a little sip of beer. We're both taking a little sip of beer, Dean.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be apple juice. Doesn't have to be beer necessarily. I don't know. But a man whose television show or shows, Dean, actually inspired an old school drinking game has just passed away today. One of the great comedians in our time, Bob Newhart, Dean, passed away. Did you ever play Hi Bob? You ever play that game?
I don't know what that is.
It's a very simple game.
Inform me.
Yes, you just simply put on an old episode or any episode of a Bob Newhart show. Every time someone says the word Bob, you take a drink. Every time someone says hi Bob, you take a bigger drink or finish your drink, something like that. It's really as simple as that. The amount of times they say Bob throughout the average show is quite a lot, I've learned over time.
Okay.
We did that back in the 90s, and that was that. So anyway, that's not why we celebrate Bob Newhart. Bob Newhart was certainly a great comedian. You know, he did comedy albums. He was known for certainly his very, very dry humor. Very intelligent comedian. Certainly had some huge television shows in his own right. He had the Bob Newhart show in, I think it was in 1978. No, even earlier than that. It ran from 72 to 78. Excuse me. And then Newhart ran from 82 to 90. And that was a show that I watched pretty regularly with my parents. I remember that was one of our television night shows. And then he had a couple other sitcoms that didn't quite make it in the 90s and into the 2000s. But then he definitely got a third act in 2003 playing Papa Elf in Elf. Great role for him. So I definitely see
cameos in the Big Bang Theory.
That is correct. Yes, he played. Let's see here.
It was a TV star, science guy, like their version of Bill Nye. Yeah,
Professor Proton. Yes, and then that role there got him an Emmy for outstanding guest actor in a comedy series. I think it was the only Emmy he won was on The Big Bang Theory, which seemed kind of
that's
odd.
Criminal.
Yes,
fucking criminal.
So there you go. So are you a Bob Newhart fan, Dean? What do you think about his comedy, sir?
I was a huge Bob Newhart fan. Bob Newhart is one of those comedians that we've lost. He is up of the upper echelon from the old guard. We've lost one of the last people of the old guard, not only just comedy, but of old Hollywood. You know?
Yes, that's right. Yep.
He was up there with these Frank Sinatras and the Bob Hopes. You know, when people weren't just, as a singer, as a comedian, they were all entertainers. And that's what Bob Newhart was. He was just an all-around entertainer. Bob Newhart, actually, one of his big breaks and claim to fame, he almost put the comedy album on the map.
Mm.
His comedy album got passed around to like different, people back then would listen to parties. And I'm watching the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It's in that time frame in the 50s where that he got his record got passed around so much, and it was so funny. It revolutionized comedy in that sense, because like you could now, it was okay to listen to it on records. Then you started getting the Bill Cosbys, and you started getting the you started getting the Jerry Lewis or whatever. All of these. So his record was hugely influential in the comedy world. And then the different specials he's done on TV and the different late night shows. Yeah, I loved, like you, all of the TVs and the movie stuff he did. But do yourself a favor, go onto YouTube and pull up Bob Newhart's stand-up comedy.
Okay. I don't know that I ever saw much of his stand or listened to his stand-up, to be honest.
Brilliant. Like, you watch some of the stuff. Some of the stuff's so, like, before its time, you're gonna, like, it's not even gonna click. You're gonna be like, fuck, it's not even a laugh. You get the idea of, oh, geez, that's like a brilliant thought or a brilliant way to present that. Mm-hmm. So special. One of the old guards gone. What a great career. An amazing life to have, right? We should all be so lucky to have a quarter of a life that Bob Newhart lived. So rest in peace, Bob Newhart.
Absolutely. Yeah, 94 years of age. He definitely lived a full life. So yeah, very, very good. Like I say, he just had the very unique, he was funny, but he was like an everyman type role, just funny, straight. It seemed like he didn't smile all that much. It was just a very good straight man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He actually they did a call out to him in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel because one of the characters was going on stage, and she realized it was her husband, and she realized that Bob Newhart. She's like, Bob Newhart stole your bit. I just seen him on TV doing your bit. And he goes, no, honey, I stole Bob Newhart's bit. She goes, what? Yeah, it's one of the, he's like, everybody does it. She goes, I don't think so. Which they don't, but he'd seen it or heard it on the record and stole Bob Newhart's bit and called about it. So
very,
very cool.
Very good. And then as we talked about in a prior episode, Dean, are some of our favorite television series finales. The Newhart finale is one of the most brilliant finales, brilliant. If arguably the most brilliant finale of a sitcom that ever was, where, he woke up in bed from a dream and he was in bed on the set with
the original Bob Newhart show.
His sitcom wife for the original Bob Newhart show, right? And it was like it was all a dream. The whole Newhart series was literally just a dream. That's how they ended it. It's like, wow. Just amazing. Good stuff. Okay. And we've actually had a few iconic pop culture figures pass away this week. Did Dr. Ruth pass away this week here? Certainly just a super influential person in her time, where it's just completely in her time it was, I don't want to say it was taboo, but it wasn't a lot of people that were openly talking about sex.
Right.
And here was this little old lady talking about it in the 80s.
With the accent.
It's okay. It's great. It's wonderful. We're all sexual people. It was like, wow, it was really, just a really amazing career that she had. So definitely popular in my time. Like I said, she was prevalent in the 80s talk show circuit and everything else here. So go ahead.
She was such an icon that Dr. Sam Beckett from Quantum Leap leapt into her in the last season. And they had, because, you know, they had the person in the waiting room. At the end of the episode, you find out that the reason he leapt into her was so she could help Al in the future, like deal with his problem. Sam didn't really have to do anything because she doesn't need help. You know, she's Dr. Ruth, but she needed to go to the future to help Al. So that ended up being the reasoning. But yeah, so yeah, she was definitely a sexual icon.
That's right. Yep. Just
Rest
like me
peace.
in the 90s. Thank you very much.
That's right. That's how you now.
Sure.
Jesus.
That's right.
It's magnetism there.
And speaking of magnetism as well, Dean, Richard Simmons passed away this past weekend, 76 years of age. Just, you know, there was some very nice messages about him. I don't know if you read or not his Twitter that his brother wrote on Richard Simmons' Twitter feed.
I did
just
not.
just a very nice message to basically, you know, not be sad. Remember my brother for who he was, basically, and all the good things that he tried to do. He tried to help people out. So at the end of the day, that's what he's going to be known as. You know, certainly just a guy who, I mean, he did not have he wasn't like a super cut physical fitness dude, but he got out
charisma.
there. Yes, he certainly did. He was definitely very motivational and inspirational, and definitely motivated a lot of folks who were trying to get in shape, trying to lose some weight for health reasons or otherwise. And he was just super into it. He had to, you know, sweat into the oldies and different things he had throughout the 80s to exercise records and videotapes and everything that were popular at the time. So yeah, that's what he was all about, man. Just trying to be a positive person and help people out. Kind of a strange dude in some respects, but you got to admire what he was trying to accomplish and what he devoted his life to at the end of the day.
All of that comes with the charisma. You know, when you have the passion and charisma that he did, and that flamboyant personality, all of that wrapped together with the energy that he had, it's going to come out. And a lot of people probably made fun of him in the 80s or 90s or whatever. But like you said, he was doing good things for people, right? But I actually watched a video today or yesterday. Popped up, you know, just the random videos pop up on your Facebook feed. And this was from the 1990s. It was Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes.
And he was a guest.
Yep.
I've watched that and I said, that motherfucker missed out on like actually doing actual comedy and not doing just like goofy bits here and there. He could have done some shit like that. He was fun. Like you could tell like he had comedic timing. Like right on the money, man. And I'm like, wow, why didn't he do more of that stuff? Like he knew what, you know, I mean, he knew where the jokes were. I mean, nobody was keeping a straight face with him. And and you can see it in his eyes. It wasn't like, oh, they're laughing at me. No, he was like, he knew what the fuck he was doing. It's so funny.
Yeah, he was like in on the joke of himself, if that makes sense. He knew he knew he had a kind of an odd look. He
and
kept wearing the short shorts and the high socks. He just kept that look up. That was his thing. That was his look. And that was it. Sort of became a recluse over the last few years of his life, which is kind of a sad thing, I guess. But like you said, plenty of people out there, I'm sure, will cite that Richard Simmons was a motivating factor for them in some way, shape, or form in their lifetime. So,
absolutely.
And Shannon Doherty passed away. I didn't know a whole lot of certainly more popular in the 90s. Was in Beverly Hills 90210 and some other things. So it was definitely very popular in that era. Never really watched the shows. Never watched a whole lot of her movies and stuff like that. Were you a Shannon Doherty fan in the 90s or otherwise?
As much as my sisters watched Beverly Hills 90210, I was aware of her. I knew she was on Charmed,
That's right.
TV show about witches.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't honestly know that much about her career other than those two things. And what I saw of her in those were, you know, just fine. So
Sure. Two definitely very
much
popular
beyond
shows in
Yeah.
her era, and she was a very prominent star in both of them. So good for her. I know that a lot of folks were upset with her passing as well, and rightfully
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
So, well, a lot of people
Gone way too soon.
That's right. Yes, absolutely. A lot of people certainly shed a tear for some or all of the folks we just mentioned here, and there were. Go
Other
ahead.
than Bob Newhart, all gone way too soon.
Yes, that's right.
98, you can't say too soon. I mean, that's a hell of a life. I mean, unfortunately, your money will be gone way too soon if you don't go to Blake Insurance.
That's right.
Because Blake Insurance will save you money. Let me tell you this, Brian. Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located right here in Barberton, Ohio. They provide auto, home, renters, and business insurance. Brian, they do it with honesty, decency, and affordability. Brian, Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359. I don't know if you picked that up. Let me say it again for you. Just get a pen, write this down. 234-571-5359, or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. And you save some money. You won't be missing it like we miss these passing celebrities.
That's right. Richard Simmons, Dean, used to sweat to the oldies. Aaron sweats for savings. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Especially shredding on that guitar.
That's right. Exactly right. Well, again, a lot of folks certainly shed a tear for the untimely passing of those pop culture celebrities. And I read today that some grown men, crew members, were sobbing on the set of Deadpool and Wolverine. Any idea when they saw this sight for the first time what they may have been crying over at the sight of?
Are we guessing, or do you know this answer?
I know the answer, but do you have a guess?
Okay. Am I going to guess? Okay. What would they have seen? Grown men weeping.
That's right.
Wow. It has to be like a nostalgia thing, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Was it Bob Newhart's corpse?
Not quite.
No?
Not
okay.
Quite. So when Hugh Jackman came out for
with
a
the shirt
camera test,
yeah, I do that. I
would sob to that. It's probably he's
sure.
a handsome man. It's a lot of hard work and training.
Mm-hmm.
But you're close though. It was Hugh Jackman, but it was Hugh Jackman wearing the yellow Wolverine suit for the first time on camera test.
Okay.
So just the sight of seeing a lot of grown men who are nostalgic for the classic Wolverine suit, whether they read it in comics or saw it on the animated series or both, seeing him out there live wearing that suit for the first time just kind of hit a few guys, and they were commenting they really haven't seen anything like it on some of the many of the movies they've shot.
Come on,
before.
man, pretend like you've been there. You're a fucking professional. No, I get it. It's no, I definitely understand that. But if you're a PA or you're working fucking pulling cable, and you see an actor come out, it's your job. Yeah, I had a job for a bit that where I worked in the broadcasting industry, we'll say, and I was around random celebrities here at a time, but that's what they taught you in school is act like you've been there. Don't sell it, don't go asking for autographs, don't go running up. So, so I'm kind of torn on it both ways. I see it as in fucking man up and do your job. But I don't know how I would react if I was working on the Superman movie and the original fucking suit comes out,
Let's keep that going here. That's going to be our Ask an Idiot segment as we're rolling through this here a little bit. So
working on the fly here, baby.
Yes. So what sight of whatever it is. It could be an actor, it could be an object, it could be something.
Fuck. Okay.
If you were
I like
on a movie set or a television series set or something like that,
What
and
could
you
make
saw
you?
the live, whatever it was, the actor,
And let's not go.
the thing.
Let's not go with weeping, but like freak out or
Yeah, super nostalgia, as it just takes you right back, and you would just be overwhelmed with happiness and joy,
and
or something
you're
like
bumbling,
that. Just
bumbling.
like,
you turn into a child. Yeah. Okay.
There he or she is. There this is, or something like that. What are some things that might do it for you?
There and there's an episode that we're gonna do here soon about vehicles.
Yes.
Our favorite pop culture vehicles.
Mhm.
Hit from Knight Rider
Yep.
might get me to freak out a little bit.
Yep.
The that the light going across, and you get in, it has the panel there. That might do it. What about you? Anything that pops off the top of your head?
I've seen people react to this guy and on several talk shows and everything, and have similar guys that are about our age and all that. I think if I saw like Mark Hamill, he would be one, or even Harrison Ford, like those guys.
You are correct. Yep.
Either one of them, to see them in the flesh, because they've just played such iconic characters that meant so much to me as a kid.
Anything like that. If you brought out the original Yoda puppet,
oh my
gosh,
cry.
I'm not sobbing, but like tears might be coming down my face without even knowing.
Yeah, there was a exhibit. Was it last year or the year prior? I wanted to make it down there, but Allie was able to take Marlo down to see it in the Columbus. I think it was the Kosai Museum. The Muppets, they had a traveling exhibit, and they had one of the original Kermit.
Oh,
Muppets,
that'd be cool. I don't know if I'd get sentimental there, but it'd be very, very cool.
I told Allie that if I had saw that one of those like Sesame Street Muppets or Kermit or something like that, I would have instantly probably teared up immediately, just seeing it there and having that connection as a kid like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. See, I think you hit it on the head with Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
I mean, even over Harrison Ford. I love Harrison Ford. God bless him.
But it's Luke Skywalker.
It's Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
And just knowing how comforting and loving he is right now as a human being.
Right.
Like, if I saw him, I take it back. I might cry if I met Mark Hamill.
He's a guy, he's fully aware of it. He's not a jerk about it. He seems to be fully aware that so many people experience joy at the thought of Luke Skywalker, that he is Luke Skywalker to so many people and kids and otherwise. And of course, he's done some of that too, where he's actually went and visited sick kids, and just for that joy and excitement. Yeah, he would definitely be one. I think I may have the go ahead.
Scott Bakula for me might be one that, again, not tearing up or crying or anything, but I'm definitely geeking out. I'm definitely losing my shit a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think for sure. Gosh, there's so many that come to mind. I think if I saw, just a lot of it's Star Wars. Certainly a lot of that Star Wars stuff there. Like if I saw like an original like R2-D2 that they use in a movie, even just the prop or the C-3PO outfit, or an original lightsaber, or a Darth Vader costume and things like that. Any of the stuff that was an original prop like that in the original movies, I'm sure would hit me at that level.
I met Ric Flair once last year. He was promoting his energy drink and stuff. And again, I think that also it depends on where you're at physically. Like I waited in a snaking line to walk over, shake his hand, take the picture, walk off.
Yeah.
So it's not. It was super cool. I love that I have a picture with Ric Flair. But if it would have been in a different setting, I would have been more, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? You're Ric Flair. This is amazing. You know what I mean? If it's in a more personable setting, but it was cold. It was, you shake and you move on, you shake and you move on. So I do think in these situations that we're talking about, it does have, setting has something to do with it.
Yeah. Some people experienced that this week, I'm sure, Dean. One of Marlowe's high school classmates, or recent high school classmates, it has graduated, is a server at the local Parasons restaurant. There's only one left here in Akron. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
And she contacted Marlowe. She was like, "Man, there's some celebrity here." Allie told me this story today, and everybody's having a big deal about it. It's some old guy, and Marlowe's like, "Well, who is it? Who is it? Who is it?" She's like, she came back. She said, "It's William Shatner."
Oh fuck!
I'm like, and Marlowe's like, "Oh my God!"
Right?
Like she Marlowe's a fan, So Marlowe's pretty cool, and her friend had no idea who he was.
That's
just some
wasted.
Old dude. Yeah. I'm like, man, guarantee there were some people at the local Parasite. I guess he was in town selling. He was in Hartville, I think, Dean, selling some of his old costumes or something like that. I don't know what he was doing, but he was in town. Yeah, that definitely got a buzz, I'm sure, at the local Parasons restaurant. There was a lot of people going crazy for Captain Kirk and all the characters
you should,
he played.
as anybody should.
Of course.
All right, so Brian, Thursday I was out doing my job. Mm-hmm. I walked into a local bar restaurant, and I walk up to these, I'm standing next to this couple who are having a drink at the bar. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking to the manager, promoting the beer that I'm trying to sell them, to sell in their establishment. Mm-hmm. And then I see this couple get up and they walking towards the door, and I get to the beer that we have that it's a football theme, right? And the guy behind the bar goes, "Yeah, football, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, right. What do you mean?" He's like, "Did you know who that was?" I turn around and look, and I just see the back of his head as he's walking out. He goes, "That's Deshaun Watson." Quarterback for the Cleveland Browns was standing next to me while I was giving my sales pitch.
Wow.
Yeah, him and his girlfriend or wife or whatnot. But
there you go.
I was right there next to him.
Yep. Man who stole $190 million from the Cleveland Browns. That's right. Yep. There you have it.
I wish I had a pen at the time and a massage table. I could have had him sign it, but no, missed my opportunity.
Yep. I'm not sure he would have signed it, but certainly worth an ask.
Sure, absolutely.
Worth an ask. Yep.
Actually, should have had him sign my beer can.
Sure. Might have done that. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, you gotta hand it to you, Dean.
To me, I do a lot of stuff with my hands, so
that's right. All right. Well, there's plenty more nostalgia, I'm sure, things we could think about. But we gotta end this segment and get to our main topic this evening.
This is our main event.
That's right. Also, the more nostalgia. It's a very nostalgia feeling.
Right.
Feels a show this evening.
We're feeling like kids.
That's right.
Who doesn't love to feel kids?
One thing that we liked as kids for sure was no. You got to reword that. You gotta
that sentence was a little okay.
Yeah. I'm going to have to check that out on the editing and so forth. But
or I got it. That's right. Who knows? We'll go back and look at it.
Yeah, we'll listen to it. It was a lot different back in our time, certainly. Definitely different in my time, different in your time for sure as well. Saturday mornings. Saturday mornings was one of the...
You touch yourself?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's right. Also, it was a big day to watch cartoons as kids. So that's going to be our main segment this evening. We're just going to talk about some of our favorite Saturday morning shows. Doesn't have to be the cartoon necessarily, but the Saturday morning shows of all time. So we're going to bring you our lists after the break.
Oh, don't you just love those commercials? And that voice? Fuck. I can touch myself to it. But we're back for segment 3, Brian.
That's right.
And let's go ahead and get right into it. Do me a favor. Brian, close your eyes. And if you're listening, even if you're driving, close your eyes. And picture this. You're 10 years old. You're sitting in front of the TV with a giant bowl of your favorite sugar cereal.
Yes.
With a big old spoon, and you turn on the TV, and there it is. The moving colors of Saturday mornings.
That's right.
Parents probably stayed up a little late Friday, so they ain't getting up. And if they are, they're mowing the lawn already, or they're drinking their coffee. This is your time to watch your television, your Saturday morning. That is ours.
Yes.
So we're asking, when we flip on that remote control, ladies and gentlemen, Brian, what are we watching? What is our, if we want to call it the Mount Rushmore of Saturday morning shows, Saturday morning nostalgia?
Yes.
What are we watching? Let's start with you, Brian, since this was, I believe, your thought, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Baby.
I'll start with the one on my shirt. If you see my video, you see what I'm wearing right now. But it's a retro Thundar the Barbarian shirt. I think it's just from like 1980, something like that.
Let me try to. Okay. Yep. Now I got it.
So it's got Thundar, Ukla, and Ariel.
Yep.
Right. So this fabulous Sun Sword, Lords of Light. So kind of a crazy premise. It was the year 1994. Of course, that's now several years ago. It's like, 30 years ago now, 1994.
Right.
So somehow as a comet passed too close to the moon and threw off the Earth orbit and destroyed the Earth, and the Earth was sort of reverted back to, not reverted back, but sort of the technology and everything was wiped out. Civilization is wiped out, and humans were sort of,
don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, they survived, and it's this whole weird barbarian and aliens and everything were living on Earth. It's kind of a very strange concept, but very cool. I bought the box set a couple of years ago, Dean. I think during COVID, as a matter of fact, I got the box set of.
I have a very limited memory of this.
Yeah, it's just a
weird from passing.
Yeah, just a weird, crazy show. So Thundar fights all kinds of different creatures and evil beings and stuff like that. So, but just, goofy fun, love it. And, just a show I avidly watched as a kid. And every so often to this day, I'll throw it on and watch a couple episodes, on a weekend, like an old Saturday morning type feel, once in a while. So that's it. If you ever saw it, check it out sometime. If you want some just crazy, ridiculous early 80s cartoon fun.
Perfect.
Yes, indeed.
Brian, I'm going to start. I'm sorry, but I can't start with animation. I'll end with animation. Don't worry. But my Saturday mornings as a child, there was a couple stations you had to flip back and forth from, right? And mine had to start at the USA Network because WWF wrestling was on. You didn't have a Monday Night Raw back then. There was for a brief period there was Wrestling Challenge and there was a wrestling on other nights, but your prime time was Saturday mornings. It was back-to-back shows on USA Network. I think Wrestling Superstars and Wrestling Challenge, or however you want to put it, but yeah. That is where I got my fix for Hulk Hogan and Randy Macho Man Savage. It was a huge influence in my life back then. I still watch it to this day. No longer on Saturday mornings. If so, I don't know about it because I'm not awake. But still, WWF wrestling. on Saturday mornings for me, bud.
Yeah, that's a good one. Very classic. The Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner show. All this was simply the old Looney Tune shorts. They ran like a new, at the time, introduction to it. And if you're a Gen X person, you definitely know the whole theme. What's, overture, hit the lights. This is it. All that stuff. And it has all the Looney Tunes characters kind of walk out on the stage with the jacket and a bow tie and like kind of the straw hat type thing and a cane. They all march across the stage. And that was it. They just had a brief intro to the cartoon and just ran the old Looney Tunes shorts. So that was it, man. Looney Tunes. You can catch all the Looney Tunes, I believe, on Max right now.
Yes.
They're all there, every single one. So if you don't have Max and you like Looney Tunes, it's a good time to get your Max subscription for that alone, frankly. But that was it. Just love those old Looney Tunes cartoons, man.
That is where we learn culture.
Editing, all that stuff. That's
from
yes.
From classical music to classic stage to maybe even got us into like different kind of movies that you wouldn't have normally watched.
Sure.
Yeah, Looney Tunes taught our and many generations different culture and
That's right.
upscale culture, even you could say. All in the guise of comedy. So I was there with you. That was going to be on my list. Bugs Bunny and the crew, definitely influential on Saturday mornings and anytime you can watch them. Really.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we have a repeat. Do you want to name another one?
I quickly jotted down one that was going to be on going back and forth. Thundercats. Kind of the same Thundar, but Thundercats was couldn't even tell you the goddamn premise, Brian. It was human cats with swords. It was He-Man,
big muscles
with the dude said a chant and his sword got bigger like a fucking growing dick. Even as a child, you go, I know what they're fucking doing here. I'm not immune to understanding that this is a euphemism for a penis. I get it.
Yeah.
But you still fucking loved it. It's still awesome. So, Thundercats.
That was, of course, that was something where I was getting older for that, but I used to watch Thundercats on occasion, just because it was a crazy, goofy show, but it was entertaining. Remember that it was entertaining. That's right. Total He-Man ripoff, but
totally. It's like, what if He-Man was a pussy? Well, that's not what we meant, but sure, here he is.
That's it. Scooby-Doo. Just my favorite is still the original Scooby-Doo. Where Are You from the 60s, and then certainly they had all kinds of different crazy iterations of the Scooby-Doo gang. They had Scrappy-Doo, which was
Scrappy-Doo was the fucking worst.
Yeah,
he was a shark that got jumped. That's what he was.
But even into the 80s. Now in the 80s, I'm getting into my late teens and early 20s. They came out with a pup named Scooby-Doo. I used to watch that, even as a young adult. That was the whole Scooby-Doo gang when they were kids. And I thought they did. I thought that was pretty okay.
Yeah, I don't think I dug that
at the time.
I don't like kids even when I was a kid, so don't give me that shit.
They're all out there again on Max. Every Scooby-Doo episode is also on Max. Every single one, all the seasons, all the iterations of it. It's all there for you. So even with those, every once in a while, I'll pull up a classic episode of Scooby-Doo. Is it the best thing? Is the hold up terrific? I'm not so sure. But still
fun.
It still is fun and very nostalgic. Absolutely. So, what else you got?
I got the Smurfs. La 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 la. I was driving down the highway today, and there was an old man, burlier older gentleman, and he had a big old white beard. And I looked up, and hanging from his rear view mirror was a Papa Smurf, but a air freshener Papa Smurf. I'm like, fuck, that's amazing. So yeah, the Smurfs again. What a weird fucking psychedelic premise. Medieval times, if I remember correctly, there was a sorcerer that hated. Were the elves?
Gargamel.
Yeah, Gargamel. Yeah, Gargamel, and then Azrael, his cat.
That's right.
Who probably didn't care much about the Smurfs. He just and kind of hated Gargamel in general. There was a weird teenage boy sometimes, and you couldn't figure out the reproduction of Smurfs because there's one chick and a bunch of horny Smurfs running around. It's a little odd.
Yeah, they never really explained it, but they lived in mushrooms and things.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got the idea. There was it had to have been like gnomes or something like that. To your point.
have made the comment, and you are aware. Well, all right. Well, instead of me putting out there to see if you remember, how tall are the Smurfs?
5 inches.
For some reason, I don't remember where or how, but I remember them being 3 apples high. Do you remember that being a thing? Some people don't.
You might be
Some
right.
people don't. But I remember them, somebody or something saying 3 apples high, which honestly isn't
that's
that.
Tall.
Yeah, it's like this big.
Yeah, that'd be
size of a small dog.
Freaky. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna Google it. So Smurfs is my number one, and again, weird premise, but it's fun. It's blue little creatures. They all had personalities, and you're always going to be able to relate to one of them. Like I'm sure you and Vanity were right there. Some simpatico. So Smurfs are for me. What about you? What is next on your list? And I'm going to, as you're saying this, I'm going to look up how tall were Smurfs.
Sure. One of my favorite cartoons as a kid, in part, one of the greatest voices ever. I don't care if it's in a movie or voice acting, lent his voice to this character and sang the theme. One of the most catchiest Saturday morning cartoon themes of all time. Hong Kong Phooey, voiced by the great
Phooey.
#1 super
Hell
guy.
Yeah.
That's right. Scatman Carruthers. I don't know if you remember Scatman Carruthers. He was also in The Shining.
Yep.
Right? You might remember him. He was the caretaker of the hotel, like the cook, I should say, at the hotel at the Shine.
One of the most shocking deaths in a movie like that. Really?
Like,
wow. They
man.
just put that to him, huh?
Yeah. Just a goofball character. Hong Kong Phooey was a dog that thought he'd do karate, and he always was saved by his cat Spot, who was always kind of saved the day. He always made Hong Kong Phooey look good. Never tried to take the credit or anything like that. So just a weird superhero type show.
I think you also just explained
but just a lot of fun.
The premise of Inspector Gadget as well.
That's probably right. Yeah. He was always rescued by the girl.
And Brain the dog.
Look good.
The Brain the dog was really the runaround in helping out.
Yeah. If it wasn't Scatman Carruthers voicing it, it wouldn't have been nearly as good.
I agree
just because it was his voice and his vibe just took it to a completely other level. I used to love watching that show as a kid.
See, I have on my list here, I actually just went generic Hanna-Barbera. Because you never knew some of the ones that are going to be on. The Amazing Race ripoff. Wacky races. Or just they would have the random shorts of the different Hanna-Barbera. Like I drive down the highway and it's very rare that you get a left exit. But my GPS girl goes, exit to the left. And in my head, I always hear, exit stage left. Yep, every fucking time. So Hanna-Barbera in general is next on my list because that's it's so vast, the characters that you got to see. From Snidely Whiplash back there.
Yes. Flintstones.
To Captain
Tons.
Caveman.
Yes. Good one. I had a Hanna-Barbera show too, Dave, while we're talking about Hanna-Barbera. Do you remember the Laugh Olympics?
Yes, I do.
Was that before your time?
That was kind of the ripoff of the celebrity ones on CBS that for some reason always had Jamie Farr.
Yes, it was like the Battle of the Network Stars, but with the Hanna-Barbera characters. So you had like almost anyone you could think
of. You had all the heels and the faces.
Yep, you had the Scooby Doobies.
Yep.
You had the Yogi Bears, not Bears, but the Yogi Bears.
And they're all wearing catcher's gear.
Yeah, exactly. Giving like an interesting not bad, but brilliant quips. No, but it's like they had and then they had the villains, like all the Dick Dastardly and Muttley and all those guys, and they would compete in like Olympic type games, and every game, like different teams would win, and every episode, sometimes the bad guys would win also on occasion.
I think I like that a lot. It is that sometimes the bad guys would win because normally, as a kid, you're prone to like good guys will always win, but I'm like, oh wow, the bad guys won. All right,
yeah, the wacky races.
Like that.
Every episode, you didn't know who was going to win.
Right,
the wacky races, and it was a whole drama thing and this and that, and yeah, just a lot of fun. Had the extra dynamic to it, but. At the time, is any Hanna-Barbera character you could think of?
It was fucking awesome.
The Laugh Olympics.
Yep. Loved it.
Absolutely.
Josie and the Pussycats.
Sure. All that stuff. Great. One of my favorite, if not my favorite. Go ahead, please.
Real quick before you do that.
Sure.
I Googled it. Physically, a Smurf is usually no more than 3 apples tall. In human measurements, probably around 3 inches. That doesn't make fucking sense. You have an inch apple? Fucking idiots. So it does say 3 apples high. So again, might be too. Somebody actually has a visual representation. Anyways, that's still
shocking.
So it does say 3 apples high or whatnot. So
okay, all right.
What do you got next?
One of my favorite. I have the box set of these as well. 2 seasons of this. There's different versions of this cartoon series for many years, beginning in the 70s into the 90s, and I think and beyond. My favorite version, though, was in the late 70s, with a young me was around 10 years old or so at the time. The Challenge of the Super Friends. Now, this was the DC Super Friends, Superman, Batman,
the halls of
Woman.
justice.
That's right. And they battled the Legion of Doom. This was like a very interesting collection of DC villains led by Lex Luthor, and just had some interesting villains that you just didn't get to see. Like it wasn't the Joker. They had the Riddler from the Batman, for example, and that was pretty cool. It was like the Riddler and the Scarecrow and Solomon Grundy, the zombie villain, literally Grog the ape.
As a kid, I just assumed that they couldn't. The money just didn't work out to get Joker on. His contract.
Sure. Right.
That's why they never used him.
But it was cool to see just these different interesting villains in the Legion of Doom, and then all the big Super Friend characters, and then they added more, new characters just for television. So they had all kinds of different, which is cool. They had all kinds of different races and creeds and everything portrayed on the show. Just goofy battles and adventures and stuff like that. But those characters, as I mentioned in prior episodes, those voice actors were Batman and Casey
Oh, yeah.
Kasem as Robin, and
Yep.
Donnie Dark as Superman, and those guys. Those are my childhood DC hero voices forever, as far as I'm concerned.
Sure.
So that's it. Be a great one to sit down and watch a few episodes of very easily. So, what else do you have, sir?
I think I only got one left here.
Sure.
And I got the Flintstones. I know it started as a primetime show in the 60s, but by the time we were kids, it had moved to Saturday mornings.
Yes.
So,
and different versions of that too. They had.
There were.
I remember for a while they had and it was an okay version. It was like when Pebbles and Bam Bam were teenagers. I don't know if you remember that iteration or not.
Vaguely.
Yeah, it was still, of course, Fred and Wilma and Barney and Betty, but Pebbles and Bam Bam were sort of boyfriend and girlfriend type thing. They were teenagers, so they had the whole gang, the whole teenage gang element and everything. So that was okay. That was one that was pretty popular when I was a kid as well. I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that as much as the original.
Original's still the best.
Yeah. Because I think when something like that comes on, I get so focused on what it should be. When they deviate from it, I tune out or turn off or whatever you want to call it. Kind of like Scrappy-Doo. As soon as I see him, okay, we're flipping channels. I ain't watching this horse shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the original Flintstones, it kind of was, they were all, what came after the Honeymooners, right?
Yes,
so
it did.
It's all, but television in general, all is just a very different variation of the Honeymooners when it comes down to it. And that was just the first in many, many variations of the Honeymooners.
Yes. Very good.
That's my list.
Plenty more out there, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
We kind of touched a little bit here. Give me one or two bad ones. You watch as a kid, it's like, man, this is just bad. Any come to mind?
I got one right off the bat. The Snorks.
Weird.
The Snorks were underwater Smurfs.
Yeah.
That had little uncircumcised dicks coming out of their forehead.
Yeah, trying to copy and capture something there. Yep.
It was weird. You watched it. You don't know why you watched it, but you watched it.
It was on.
Yeah, it was by the same people that did the Smurfs, same voices also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it wasn't good. Like it was just a blatant oversell ripoff of the Smurfs. So the Snorks.
Yeah. Yeah, we mentioned Scrappy-Doo. That version of Scooby-Doo, not the best. I mean, Scrappy-Doo takes a lot of flack for that. One of the dumbest, weirdest cartoons I recall ever watching. They had a version of the Thing. The Thing from the Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah.
Except it was a teenage boy, and it had these power rings. He would do the thing. He would do some type of, and he would touch the rings.
I remember this. Yeah.
Yes. Touch the rings together, and magically, rocks would adhere to his body, and he would become a man.
Yeah.
The Thing. It was Ben Grimm, but it wasn't Ben Grimm.
Sure.
It was some type of ridiculous. It's at the time. It's just the network executives are trying to, capture the teenage market or something like that.
Right.
But
they're reading these comic books.
Yeah. One of the dumbest fucking cartoons that was ever created.
I didn't like
So
the fucking
stupid.
Wonder Twins either.
Wonder Twins were odd on the
Yeah, I didn't care for that. It was an odd why put so much sexual tension between not only brother and sister, but brother and sister cartoons? It was weird, very weird.
The powers were stupid. I mean, her power was pretty good. She could turn into any animal that she wanted to. His power, he had to be some form of water. That's all he could do. Ice or water.
Dude,
That's it.
He
That's all
made some
could do.
girl. He made some girl very, very happy.
I know. I remember this. It was just one of those stupid. It was like she turned into an eagle, and he turned into an ice bench. And she picked up the bench, and somebody sat on the ice bench, which is of course freezing cold.
Sure.
It flew the but yeah. Speaking of drinking games, by the way, that was something that we used to make references to the Wonder Twins for certain drinking games and stuff like that. But yeah, just ridiculous, stupid.
Oh shit!
All right. Well, there's plenty of good cartoons, plenty of bad cartoons. I'm sure we could name a lot more.
Absolutely.
Like there's plenty of good tattoos, Dean, and bad tattoos, but you're not going to get a bad tattoo.
No. Why would you?
Right, from our friends at Golden Heart Tattoos. So they're not going to give you a bad one here, unless you purposely want one. Maybe you want a tattoo of Scrappy Doo.
That'd be a bad tattoo.
Yeah, Scrappy Doo sitting on an ice bench of the Wonder Twins being flown by an eagle or something like that. Maybe that's something you might enjoy.
Scrappy Doo getting all wet.
Sure. That's right. So if you would like that tattoo or something else, give them a call at 234-706-2982. You can find them on Facebook or online, goldenhearttattoos.com. They're going to change their name eventually. We'll keep you posted on that. But just give them a call right now. It's the best thing you can do to schedule your personal appointment in their clean and beautiful new studio in Wadsworth, Ohio.
Hells yeah.
That's right. How might one even get there, Dean? How would you might travel to beautiful Wadsworth? Maybe it's a vehicle you might use in the last Olympics, if I may say.
Well, my car broke down, and I don't like to run. What the hell else would I do?
That's right.
My bike chain broke. Like those little pesky bike chains. What are you going to do, Brian?
I don't know. What would you do?
I would probably, if it was just me, maybe not you, but just me, and probably the rest of you, I'm going to RPM Bike Shop to get me an electrical bike, baby.
That's right.
I am going to Laugh Olympics in style. Cruising in.
Cruise in like a Jabberjaw or somebody like that.
That's right.
To do that, call our friends at RPM
and then
Bike Shop.
Stage left.
That's it. Exit stage left to their webpage, to their Facebook page, RPM Bike Shop, or give them a call at 330-808-7792. Dean, we've done it again.
We did.
We've done it again.
We make this shit look good.
That's right. We have nearly accomplished a significant milestone in podcast history. One step closer.
One step. Next week, baby. 200.
That's right. 200. Wow. That's right. Yeah, we're working with the the local executives in Barberton, Ohio. Similar to how they stopped everything downtown for a local movie filming.
Right.
Yeah, we anticipate a similar treatment.
We need streets blocked off.
Streets blocked off, just to get us safely from our parking spaces down to.
We need a lot of protection because, like, I don't want our ears shot or anything like that, Brian.
No, that's right. We plan to shoot some ears with entertainment.
That's right.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
If not, we'll do it with this podcast.
Mm-hmm. So stay tuned. We'll give you all the details on our social media out there, which again you can find on our Facebook and X and all that good stuff. So find us on our Linktree page, Dean. Simply Google Linktree, Convincing Idiots, and get our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com, YouTube, Facebook. Listen to us again wherever you listen to podcasts. Give us a free follow or subscribe. Tell others. We appreciate that. Mm-hmm. That's right. And have we convinced you that Scrappy Doo, one of the worst characters in cartoon history.
Yeah.
Hey, did you like that video? You know you did, and we know you did. So stop screwing around and go like that video, subscribe to our channel, and join us for some more.
Ham gravy.
Our main segment this evening, Saturday mornings were a great time as kids for all of us, especially with us growing up with Saturday morning cartoons. We're going to talk about some of our favorites in our main segment. Listen wherever you listen to podcasts. Watch us at our YouTube channels. Come be stupid with us. This is our intro. I just fucked it up.
Sure is. I'm like, he'll veer
I just
back,
fucked it up.
Brody. He'll get back there.
Yep. Fucked it up completely. All right.